Welcome to the Let Them Live podcast with Emily Burning, a place for meaningful conversations, real stories, and a shared mission to protect life.
What's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be back for another episode. I am so glad that we're here. Was up all night last night. Our dog went missing, but luckily we found her. So I am just glad that this is happening and that we made it because our guest today just has such a beautiful heart. There's a lot of amazing people that I meet in this work, but I don't know. Liz is just so special and just special to me, special to Let Them Live. And she has just such a beautiful outlook and perspective on life and how to, share with our kids. For me and Nathan, sharing with our nieces and our nephew about life, about the beauty of life, about how God created us. So Liz Beaton is she's a choir director, and her group sang at the Vatican last year, which is super cool. And she's a singer, and has sung all over the world, which is amazing. Beautiful voice. And her mom, this is actually interesting as well. I actually got her mom's book. I think it's her mom's book that she wrote because her mom is a Nazi labor camp survivor. So I'll definitely have to plug that because I actually think there's a lot of parallels between what went on during the Holocaust and what's happening right now in terms of abortion in the United States and all over the world. And so it's an amazing book. I accidentally left it back in Florida, and I'm about halfway through it, but so far it's just awesome. And all of this to say, Liz is an amazing person, but her greatest accomplishment has been using the talents that God has given her to write this beautiful book. It's called The Perfect Little Angel, and it's really to encourage people to share, and I won't even talk about it anymore. I'm going to have Liz talk about it, but she's just like this ball of love for the pro-life cause, for moms, for their babies. And so I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get Liz in here. Hey Liz, how are you?
I'm well, Emily. How are you?
Good. It was like so hard because I was like, there's just so many things I can think of to say about you. So I'm like, how do I narrow this down?
You're very sweet. You're very sweet. It's just that I'm so old that I've had a few more experiences than you. That's all.
That's true. That's it exactly. I know I'm like, I could list all this stuff, but I mean, it's so amazing. I don't remember because I have the worst memory, but actually I do remember when we first met. I take that back. I absolutely remember when we first met. And I just remember like feeling immediately connected to you, and you just had all these
I
amazing
felt too.
stories. And you gave me your book when we first met, and I thought it was just so amazing. So I'd love for you to talk about that. But we can start with, if you want, kind of your own background, or honestly wherever you want to start, because this is your time to share about what you've been doing and how we can help and how people can support you.
Sure. Well, I think I should start from the beginning, possibly, and how this book actually came into being. And it was quite by accident. I was going through a huge struggle in my life. I was married to an abusive husband. I was a battered wife. And because I'm a woman of faith, it was very difficult for me to leave him. But through spiritual counseling, I learned that I was not doing myself or my child any favors. Anyway, long story short, I was a single mom when my son was 6 months old. And when he was about 2 years old, I was rocking him to sleep and rubbing his face, tracing his face with my fingers, as my mom used to do, just like this, to help us to fall asleep. And I would oftentimes just extemporaneously improvise a story to help him to just fall asleep. And this one day, the Perfect Little Angel story came out of my mouth. And I laid him down to sleep, and I ran to the pad and grabbed my pen, and I just started writing it down because I couldn't believe how profound these words were. And I still to this day say I did not make them. They came through me. I did not create this book. That book came through me. And so that's the story. And I just I looked up and I said, one day, God, I will publish this book. And it took 26 years to do that. And the year that The Perfect Little Angel was being created, was being produced, the Supreme Court ruling regarding Roe v. Wade was, overturned or sent back to the states. And so I just knew that that was a sign that I was on the
divine
right.
timing.
Yeah.
There's times like that, and I think all of us have experienced that in our lives where something just completely flows, or and you're like, whoa, what was that? And where it came from. And I thought this was interesting, and I don't actually know if I shared this with you, but it just really, when I first saw your book, I thought, man, this is such a good idea, because when I was younger, my mom would do this thing, and we would ask her, I would be like 3 years old or 4 years old, like, Mom, can you paint my face? Because she would,
Yes.
to get us to fall asleep, she would talk out loud, and she would like pretend like her finger was a paintbrush, and she'd say, oh, there's these green grasses, and she would like paint our face and kind of like paint a picture, and it would, like, we'd always fall asleep to that. And so when I saw this, I thought, gosh, this is just so beautiful, because it's just such a maybe common, I don't know if it's a common way that kids go to sleep, but it's just the sweetest way. And the drawings and the illustrations in the book
Yes.
are just beautiful. It's like they're painted. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So maybe talk about that as well, and then we can kind of talk about the content of it, because it's just such a good book.
Well, I have to agree with you. The paintings are masterful. Andrea Brazier actually did them with colored pencil, and they're photographs of my own children and other students or church members. And we're trying to create this multicultural idea that, because all of us are created by God, every race. And so Andrea just took the pictures that I provided and masterfully created these works of art. Every time I flip the page, even to this day, the pictures bring tears to my eyes.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. I'm very, very lucky. Her name is, again, Andrea Brazier, and I searched the world for her. Italy, Russia. I've searched Japan, Poland for an artist, Indonesia, and I found this woman. I needed a Christian. I needed someone who shared my beliefs, and I found this woman 4 hours away from me in Georgia.
Sometimes that's what happens, what we're looking for is like right here.
That's right.
So this is amazing too, because this is not just like a story that you just read to your kids. Like, there's actually a whole process to it. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So I should start by reading the scriptures that kind of inspired the story in my backstory. I was meditating on these scriptures, and here I'm just going to pull out one of my books.
Yes,
Because
please show everyone too. Like,
yeah.
this is just so beautiful. Oh,
So here's the cover, and here are some of this beautiful artwork. Hold on,
it's just so gorgeous.
so you can see all of the little angels, and again, some of them are my children. But the scriptures that go along with it are Genesis 1:26, let us make human beings in our image and after our likeness. Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I dedicated you. Psalm 139, you formed my inmost being. You knit me in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am wonderfully made, and so on. So there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scriptures that I include at the start of the book, and the directive is to read a scripture to your child. Don't read all 7 in one sitting, but just one. And then as you go through the story, so God is creating a baby to enter this world, and we call that baby the perfect little angel. And so he calls 7 of his angels to help bestow his gifts. And as each angel paints and creates a feature of the child's face. One first angel paints the eyebrows. You, the reader, trace the eyebrows, and each angel, paints the eyes, the lashes, the cheeks, the lips, and so on. And by the end, um, the perfect little angel is created, and that perfect little angel is the child who is reading the book, or whose the book is being read to. And the child, as they hear the story over and over, they're hearing a different scripture, and they make the connection that even though this is a fictional story, they are being created masterfully and carefully created with a purpose by God. And the scriptures just then take hold. I have people, when I speak at churches, and this one boy, Simon from Londonderry, New Hampshire, said, Miss Liz, I'm special because I was chosen twice, once by my birth mom and once by my adopted mom. And I said, you absolutely were chosen more than once, but actually you were chosen 3 times because you were first chosen by God. And he ran up to me and hugged me. I had a grandmother here in St. Augustine say, run up to me and say, I bought your book for Christmas. And my 3-year-old said to me after I finished the book, Grandma, this book is about me. God made me. And the tears just streamed from my face because he got it at 3 years old. Yes, that's what it's all about, is that God made you and you were created meticulously and you're here for a reason.
Yes, it's amazing. I think before my nephew is 3, and before I had experienced him growing up, I was like, "Oh, kids aren't going to understand things. Kids aren't going to understand these complex ideas." But they actually understand a whole lot more than sometimes we think. And especially if you give them something that's age appropriate, while it may not be like, scientifically, it doesn't matter because 3-year-olds aren't thinking scientifically, right? You have to kind of tap into their imagination. Like, I was reading a little Bible passage with my nephew, and it asked, what did God make? And he said, God made pizza. I'm like, yes, God made pizza, because that's where their mind is. And so to have a book like this, I think it's so important because, a lot of parents may just avoid altogether talking about, like faith and the Bible and pro-life beliefs when their child is so young because they don't know how to do it. And your book, The Perfect Little Angel, gives parents, gives people, gives grandparents, gives aunts and uncles a beautiful tool to use to start to uh, show their kids how beautiful they are and how God made them in a way that they'll understand. And I just think that that's the part of it that I love so much. I mean, there's so many parts I love about it, but the fact that it's age appropriate and they understand it, that's what you want. And I think it's so beautiful.
You actually touch upon, and I wrote down your words, that it taps into their imagination. Again, I can't take credit for this. This book came through me. So God's intention was that this book would tap into their imagination. I mean, truly, there is not, an assembly line where 7 angels are sitting there
That'd
and
be cool
creating.
though.
Yeah, it would be cool. I'm sure that's not how God created, but I'm just saying that it taps into their imagination and helps them to understand scripture in their own way.
Yeah.
And once they are, and I'll tell you, it has happened because this book has been around for 27 years. Um, the You read the book to the child when they're 2, 3, 4, they are still requesting the book at 9 and 10
I
years
want
old.
someone to read. I want like Nathan to read the book to me and because it
They
takes you back to the simplicity of the child. Like it's such a simple book that I feel like everyone should read it because
Yeah.
sometimes as adults we get way too caught up in whatever.
Cerebral, way too
Yeah, so
cerebral.
taking it back to like ABC 1, 2, 3.
That's right. That's right.
I love that. It's such a beautiful book and to kind of, talk about the scripture, it's obviously rooted in scripture and especially in Jeremiah. I mean, while you were reading those scriptures, I kept thinking, I don't understand how anyone who reads the Bible, who is a Christian, could, support abortion, because those words are so clear, that God knew us, He formed us, He's the one that did that, and it started even before we were in our mother's womb. But that's where He chose us to grow, and so kind of back to this, like, how does this book tie into your own personal, like, pro-life beliefs, and your views on that?
Well, if each life is endowed and created with purpose, that purpose is snuffed out when we abort our child. If each life is meticulously crafted, the wonder and beauty of that life is something that mom will never experience if she brings about her, the murder of her own child. And I have to tell you, if I may, that this is why this whole mission is so important to me, because I was one of those women. And I understand what they're going through, because I felt the same pressures. I was married at the time, to an abusive person, as I said before. He was on drugs. I didn't realize that at the time. I was very naive. And when all of this came to light, I realized that I had to see this marriage through, because I'm Christian and I didn't believe in divorce and all of that. I got pregnant, and my ex-husband said that if I did not abort, he was not ready to be a father, and if I did not abort the child, that he would leave me. Now, you have to understand, my parents and my family were alienated from me. I was alienated from them. That's how narcissists and control freaks operate. They keep you cloistered to themselves and take away your support system. So I thought I would be alone. And so I went to get some counsel, and what I thought would be balanced counsel. Looking back, I encourage everyone to see that movie about the life of Abby Johnson, Unplanned, because that experience was exactly mine. I walked into what I found out now was to be more like a Planned Parenthood back then, many, many years ago. And I shared my fears, because my husband was doing drugs, and they came back with, your baby will come out missing limbs. Not that they will, there was such a finality about the way they spoke to me. My baby would be missing limbs, cognitively impaired, possibly needing the most, the most profound support for the rest of their lives, that I was sentencing this baby to a life of misery. I remember those words, sentencing. And that if I didn't sign on the dotted line today, it would be $1,500, whereas if I signed today, the abortion procedure would be $400.
Oh my gosh, the pressure.
So I signed, and we were newly married, and we did not have any money. I showed up for the abortion, and I knew I was doing wrong, but I felt like I had no choice. And it's funny, because they say that this is a choice, but I felt like I had no choice.
Yeah.
They laid me on the table, and they give you kind of an IV to inject Pitocin. And I looked to the right and saw the tools they were going to use on me. They started injecting the Pitocin, and I screamed no. I screamed no at the top of my lungs. And 2 nurses held me down. I don't remember much of what happened for quite a bit of time after that. And I don't know if they injected, I don't know what they do, maybe a sedative or something. But I kind of woke up to my senses after the procedure was over, and I was crying, hysterical, and people who know me know that I'm not a hysterical person. Begging him to see my child, and he would not let me see my child. And then they left me in the room. No counseling, no care, nothing. I ran out of that room, realizing the gravity of what I had done. And I ran to my parish priest, I confessed what I had done. He was just his most amazing spiritual counselor. And he told me in that confession that I was not the first one who expressed this, that other women have been held down and the abortion performed against their will. And truly, they did that to me. Now, I must accept blame for walking into that clinic, but that abortion was performed against my will. I know that in more recent years, women have said no, and the doctor has pulled away and reversed the Pitocin and the other chemicals that they inject you with, and the baby has been born fine. But that was not my experience. So I believe when this book came to me, it was kind of God's way to heal me and heal my pain. And he held me to my promise, offering this. This is why I take no profit from The Perfect Little Angel. There are other books that I'm in the process of writing, and I will take a profit in my retirement from those books, but I will never take a profit from The Perfect Little Angel because it is his book. I did not write it. And so we are helping women's shelters, women in need, women who have chosen life, pregnancy centers that stand for life, Alpha Omega Miracle Home, the Divine Mercy House, St. Gerard Campus, and Let Them Live are our four main, we donate to those four organizations, and they are our main squeeze, I guess I would say.
I love that.
When I enter a church, the churches will invite me to speak, and I show them this pie chart or explain this pie chart, that the church itself will make 20% of the proceeds from The Perfect Little Angel. And I'm telling you, the book sells like hotcakes. I speak for 3 minutes, anywhere from 3 minutes to 40 minutes in any given venue. And we sell the books in the back, and we sell out just about every time. So 20% goes to the church for pro-life initiatives. 20% goes to the church's charity. So their Christian pregnancy center or shelter that's near their church. There is 10% that I must invest back into paying off the cost of the book. However, all the rest of the administrative costs, including my traveling to New England, to Atlanta, to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, is out of my music business. So I pay for those administrative costs out of my music business, but I must pay for at least the cost of the book,
Yeah.
and the future printings, and then 50% is donated to the charities that I just mentioned. And so that's how. And then at the end of each presentation, I provide the church or the venue with the allocation of distributions. They get a spreadsheet as to where the money has gone, and proof, a receipt that the money has gone to the places that I have stated. And so that's kind of how the mission works.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's obvious that, and I hope that everyone has already been able to see like your heart in this, and just how, it comes from a place of having
Pain.
lived through these things. And I love too how you take the proceeds, and obviously I love that you support Let Them Live, but also other ministries as well that kind of reflect your experiences. Like you said, women's shelters. How many women are in women's shelters that are fleeing and escaping domestic violence? Are homeless, or just a single mom, whatever it is. Like, I think it's beautiful because you're taking your pain, and things that have happened in your life, and making them for good. And that's just an encouragement to anyone who's listening. Like, just remember that God can take anything. God can take anything that you've done, anything that's happened to you, and turn it into something beautiful. And
Yes.
this is how ministries start. This is how people help people, is by saying, hey, I've been through that too. And just a quick plug here. If you are someone who has had an abortion, and you need healing and you need support and help and counseling, you can go to shefoundhisgrace.org. That's an organization that Let Them Live partners with. It's online, support groups and help. And the founder of it is also post-abortive. So just a plug there, always for anyone. But I think your testimony is so powerful, Liz. And I remember when you first told me when we first met for lunch, because Liz and we only live like an hour from each other. So that's really amazing. But I remember you sharing that with me. And it's just clear that you've, put your whole heart into this, which I think is just awesome. So I want to ask before I forget, just as a quick plug, and I'll mention it again at the end, but how do people buy your book? How can people connect with you if they want to bring you to their church, to support you?
Well, Let Them Live could include my QR code on their website.
Perfect.
That takes people right to liztbeaton.com, which is my website. There, I hand out these flyers. You can be an ambassador for the pro-life movement to your church. And again, I list all of the places that at that particular church the money is going to, their local pregnancy center, their church, and so on. LizTbeaton.com. They can email me at liz@liztbeaton.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, either Liz T. Beaton or The Perfect Little Angel on both Instagram and Facebook. And there are many more plans for my social media. I'm really enamored with Takara and
Yes.
her help giving me a media presence or a social media presence. Plans for the future for social media include a devotional, scripture readings, uplifting content, progress from our mission. They can sign up for my mailing list on my website, liztbeaton.com. The T actually is, my middle name is Teresa, but my maiden name is Thibault. The reason I make it a capital T is because I learned when I traveled around Italy that Christ was actually crucified on a towel, and it's a T. The only reason why there was this extra post above was because they listed the letters INRI,
NRI.
but they were crucified on a towel, and so that's why Liz Beaton
Oh,
is
I
in
didn't
small
know
letters,
that.
and the capital T is that the cross stands over me and protects me.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, so anyway, they can get on to social media, and they might be wondering, why is that spelled so funny, but liztbeaton.com,
Perfect. Okay.
and they can sign up for my mailing list as well.
Good. And I also know, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, like, please follow. And, the pro-life community, the Christian community, we're here to support each other. And I feel like I
Yes.
always have to say that over and over again because we live in such divisive times, but it comes naturally to Nathan and I to just work together, that because we just know we can't do it all. And so just my daily encouragement or my weekly encouragement to everyone listening and watching to work together to support each other. And this is a really great way. Christmas is coming up. So, gifts. I'm going to be talking to our counseling team about being able to give these to our moms, so that they can do it with their babies. So
We have a
that's something.
donation we have a donation program as well. Every church that I speak at, we ask for people to buy a book to donate. And so our next donation package will be going to Let Them Live.
Perfect. Oh, see, that's just so beautiful. And then these moms who previously were considering abortion, like, they get to experience this, and they get to, this is just another step in their journey of seeing the beauty and the value in their little babies. You also, and maybe you can share with me the progress on this if there is any, but you are hoping to get a Spanish version.
Yes,
So
I have a translation already, and we just had a second printing of the Perfect Little Angel that will be out at Christmas. So let me just show you that. So um, the original has this lettering, and now we have a little metallic and a little more flare. It's a metallic. I don't know if it shows up.
Oh, it does. That's so
Yeah.
cute. I
And
love
then in
that.
the back, rather than pasting a picture of your child, the Perfect Little Angel, now when they turn to the last page, it will be a mirror.
Oh my
And so
gosh. Wait,
they
that is so cute. Liz!
I can't claim this idea. My husband came up with this with
You just
one.
take it. No, I'm just kidding.
So they open to the last page and they see that they are the Perfect Little Angel.
Oh, that is see, what's yours
Yeah,
is yours and what's his is yours. So you know,
that's
that's
right.
just I think that is such a beautiful idea. Because I'm gonna have to reorder the book because and just I'm gonna have to have my mother-in-law reorder the book too because we just need the mirror in there.
Yeah.
That is such a great idea.
But we have the Spanish version printed. We have soft covers coming out.
You're gonna have to keep us updated because I'm definitely gonna buy a copy or two. That is just so sweet. I'm so glad. Everyone, just please go buy your copy. Do this. It's just such, and you're getting something out of it. You're showing your child, you're helping your child to understand the beauty of life in a way that's going to make sense to them, and you're supporting a pro-life cause, a Christian cause. I think this is amazing.
May I say that these women that we're supporting, you and I, and all of us together, their need does not end with our one-time donation, right?
100%.
We, and I used to think, oh, I'm a good person. I've donated to this cause, but my goodness gracious, they're raising their child in poverty, and their child, after my donation, still is in need of, I don't know, their most essential needs, their diapers and food and clothing and, school supplies and things like that. So that is how the mission was born, because I said, I'm compelled to keep giving because the need is still there. And what we are providing is a hand up, not a
Yes.
handout, because
Yes.
we are giving them the counseling. We are giving them we're allowing them to finish their degree. All of these organizations that I support, they are helping them finish their degree. One group brings a widow, Alpha Omega brings a widow and pairs her with a teenage mom, so that as the teenage mom finishes her high school diploma and her college degree, the the widow is at home watching her baby so she can do these things.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
all of these organizations have their own twist on how to fully support and guide these women through these tough times. And so we give them a hand up, not a hand out, so that they
Yes.
can then support themselves.
You just said it perfectly. I can't say it any better than that. And we're so grateful for your support, obviously, with the financial support, but just the partnership as well. I think this is, God really brought us together for a reason. And I hope everyone buys a copy and supports this because, like you said, we're all doing our part and to create this well-rounded support for moms. So supporting the Perfect Little Angel and buying a copy is going to support and give life. It's going to support women, empower them, and help give life to their children. So I'm so excited. Again, liztbeaton.com.
And I just have to say, Emily, we are so grateful for you and for all that you've done in your young years, where you have come, how far you've come.
It's all God.
It is all God, absolutely.
Yeah.
But your story is inspiring,
Thank
and
you.
I'm just so grateful to be affiliated with you and let them live.
100%. I'm really glad. I've made some of the very best friends through this work, and I'm sure many people can relate as well as you can, Liz. Like, never where I thought I
Huh.
would be in life, but exactly where I needed to be.
Right.
So, the way God times everything is just amazing. So, I really encourage people to reach out. Have Liz come and speak. She's obviously, you guys have heard, she's so passionate. And I think that's why we end up having really long lunches because we could talk forever about how we want to save the world and do this and do that, because we have similar hearts, just wanting to keep helping. So the passion is there. And yeah, thank you for coming on and sharing. I'm glad we made this happen, and
You are so welcome.
I'm excited to see what comes,
Me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you again. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. And I can't say it enough, but I'll say it again. Go buy your copy of The Perfect Little Angel. Just do it so that you're not annoyed by me like saying it over and over again. But thanks again, Liz. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Let Them Live podcast with Emily Burning. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know your thoughts in the comments and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.